Well, the Small Business Administration is just doing so much right now, and I know you guys are busy since the CARE Act with all of the opportunities available to the Delaware small businesses here. If you want to just give us just a little background on SBA and what you're doing now to try to help all of our struggling small businesses here in the first state.
Sure. Well, SBA is a small federal agency. We have offices in every major city, and of course our headquarters is in Washington, D.C. I'm the director for the state of Delaware. We're located in Wilmington. There's 68 field offices in every major city throughout the country. What we normally do is help people with finding loans, what we call guaranteed loans. We also help people start their business in terms of answering any technical questions they may have. And we have a network of resource partners that help us do that. And then last but not least, we help people obtain government contracts. Small businesses sometimes have trouble getting through that system. So we're able to help them do that. And that's our normal time. We also have a fourth area that doesn't come up that often, but it's what's called our disaster program. And normally it's for hurricanes, floods, fires, that type of thing. But under the virus crisis that we have, we've expanded that program, and it now includes something called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And this has been activated before, but never like this. It's been certainly pumped up, and Congress has given us money for it. Under this program, it's designed to get businesses up to $2 million for expenses, operating expenses. And the idea is that we compare when you're doing well, let's say 2019 average month, compared to now 2020 average month, and we try to make up the difference when it comes to your ability to meet your expenses. That is a 3.75% interest rate up to $2 million, and you have up to 30 years to pay it back. It really is the easiest loan to get to qualify for when it comes to SBA. So that program, as you might imagine, has received many applications, and we're trying to keep up with it. We don't process loans here in our local district. It's done out of the center in Dallas, Texas. We have a loan center down there that handles disaster loans.
I know a lot of people, John, they applied for these disaster loans a couple weeks ago, received no notification as of yet to receipt of the loans or how to proceed. When do you expect some of our businesses here might hear back that their application has been received and is being worked on?
Well, we do have a call center that's been kind of overwhelmed, and if you have an application number, then we have received it. And even if you didn't, we may have received it. If you don't have an application number, I would encourage you to log back in using the credentials that you set up, and then once you do that, you should see your application number on the screen, and that's the way we're going to track you. When you speak to SBA, you need that application number. That way we can track it down. Now, we have reached out and worked with local, actually national call centers and some other household names out there that are going to help us with the customer service side. So we've been told that this week will be a big week in terms of notifying people. A lot of businesses, not a lot, but a few have already received correspondence from SBA, and we've had a couple approvals already. But that was in the beginning before we started to get overwhelmed. So the system is working. It's just taking us a little while to get up to speed.
Now, they came out with a short form as well, which was designed for a $10,000 advance. Some businesses, myself included, where I own a retail store here in town. Also, our radio station is a nonprofit. So we filled out forms for the $10,000 emergency fund or the advance. And yes, we have a number that was printed out, but again, a handful of businesses are communicating with one another here in the Rehoboth Beach area. Nothing's been heard back on that. Any idea on the turnaround for these, $10,000 emergency funds?
It's up to 10,000. They're telling us that it's going to go out this week. The money's going to go out this week, probably when they say this week, you're looking at early, Monday next week. There was a little bit back and forth. We're working in tandem with Department of Treasury. So it's been a little. When you have two federal agencies, it makes it go a little bit slower, but. We've been told that the system has worked out the bugs, and they'll be looking to get those checks out in the next few days.
Now, if you've filed for those the emergency up to $10,000 funds, you still should file out the long form as well, which would have been the first disaster loan that you're talking about.
No, if you filed for the 10,000, that short form, then we have your information. What'll happen is when they're ready to take a look at your application. You're gonna receive the 10,000, and then when they're ready to look at that, then they'll ask you for more information, maybe information that you had on the long form. So there's no need to refile if you've already filed. We'll be getting back to you very shortly here, and we've had a couple businesses and that got a 10-day turnaround time with approval, but again, that was early on. That was before the crash. So
definitely. But if you've done the short form and haven't done the long form yet, do you advise to have that long form filled out now?
No, you don't need to fill out the long form. I mean, you want to have the information ready, maybe some details ready, maybe copies of your tax returns, that type of thing, just to have them on hand. But you don't need to fill that out. Someone will get back to you and work with you to get the additional information.
That's great. I can just imagine how deluged, the Small Business Administration is right now, but the money that's coming from the CARES Act is definitely going to help a lot of our small businesses here in Delaware. Now, another program is the PPP, or the Payroll Protection Plan, and that is a plan now that will be forgiven if certain requirements are met. A lot of banks seem to have issues with it in the beginning, and I remember the White House coronavirus team stating, well, this is one you'll be able to walk into a bank and an hour later you'll be able to get your money. Well, we know that hasn't happened. What are you seeing now that is happening with this PPP program?
Well, in the beginning, it's funny. The large banks, they have all the resources. They were ready. They were able to get, their own portals built, their own applications up online quickly. That's why you saw last Friday the large banks, Bank of America, Chase, others, that just turned on the floodgates and got all the headlines. Meanwhile, we have other banks that are community-based that are trying to keep up, trying to catch up. And some of them, have not used SBA systems in a while, and we need to get their credentials cleared, which is not something like you could do on a regular website. So we're working with them to get them online, and we're starting to see some progress. Here we are, not quite a week in, and we're getting there. Where we have a team that's working on that. The system was not designed. I mean, literally, I can tell you, we've had in that system we've had over 200,000 requests to clear lenders, because what's happening is lenders are like I said, they need to update their system. But not only that, we need to expand it, because a lot of lenders, like the rest of us, are working from home. So now we need more credentials for people to log on. So that's starting. We're starting to see some breaks in that, and we're starting to see some progress. So
that's great news.
Stay tuned. Also, you want to stay with your bank. If you're with a community bank, it's the best way to go, because if you try to go to another bank, a lot of them are not going to take new customers right now. They want to help out the customers they have. So you want to try to stay with your bank and give them some time to get set up. There's plenty of money in that program. We're only $350 billion. We're not even at $100 billion yet. So we'll do that. We'll be able to fund your request as it comes in.
Now, let me ask a question about PPP, if I may. As you know, most of our businesses here in the first state are closed right now, with the exception of essential businesses. So most of the staff, they're on state and federal unemployment right now. Is the PPP designed to get them off of that so you can be paying them even though your business is closed, or is it there for you when you reopen?
Well, you have some time to apply for PPP. So it is designed to get people off the payroll. And it is exactly that. We want to make sure that you're ready to open when the world is ready, when the country is ready to open. So we want to try to have you bring people back, even if you don't have work for them. Try to get them off of unemployment, get them back onto your payroll. You can, the deadline to apply for that is June. So you can wait. You can wait to bring them back and then apply, and that way you can actually ramp up as you're moving forward. It's really the best use of that program is not quite when you're shut down completely. It's when you're starting to ramp back up again.
That makes a lot of sense, especially for seasonal businesses here down at the beach, where most of the rent is paid over like a 5-month period in the summertime, where most businesses down here aren't paying rent now, where part of the PPP is to help with rent, utilities, as well as payroll. It could really come in handy come June.
Absolutely. And that's what I would do.
Now, you have several SBA teleconferences that people can participate in, and I'm seeing on your website, SBA.gov, and then on the Delaware site that you have teleconferences today, twice today. Is that correct?
We do. We have our main conference, and if you want, I can give out that number.
That'd be great.
Okay. We have this every day at 3 o'clock. It's a 202 area code, so 202-765-1264. Again, 202-765-1264. And your login for that is, your access code is 827-299-626. 827-299-626. And that is 3 o'clock every day. And then we have scheduled often some webinars throughout the day. We'll talk about that today. We may be shifting that schedule around a little bit, but that's our main one that we hold Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock. Please join us.
That's great. Thank you so much, John Fleming, Delaware District Director of SBA, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. I know your office has been working closely with Senator Coon's office as well, as of course with Governor Carney too. I believe I've heard you on one of his press briefings as well. Getting the word out.
Right. We have a great relationship with the elected officials, national and local. It's really something special here in Delaware. Not every office, SBA office, has that privilege, but we feel privileged to have that relationship.
That's great. Well, thank you very much. And do you have the number handy that if people have applied and they want to see if they can find the update, the number to call the national office?
Yes. We have 1-800-859-6522.
800-859-6522.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Well, John Fleming, thank you so much. Really appreciate all the time you spent with us this morning. I think you've cleared up a lot of questions for a lot of small business owners here in southern Delaware.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome.